Hey, most people talk about how to build a downline. It's out there everywhere. In this video, I want to talk about when and how to build a downline.
Look, insurance sucks. I'll just make it suck less.
Hey, what's up guys? My name is Brad Hannon and I created and dedicated this channel to health insurance agents like you, help you polish your skills, make more sales, and ultimately make more money in the insurance industry.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Today I want to talk about a very common topic gets brought up a lot in insurance, and that is building a downline. But we always talk about how. I want to talk specifically about when and how to build a downline. So the when is super important. But before we get into it, I just want to say if this channel, if this video or another video you've come across has ever helped you, please hit that subscribe button, throw me a like, give a comment, let me know what you liked about this video or another one that you've seen, because that's what keeps us creating this content, keeping us going. You know, I hear from agents all the time at events. I hear from agents, you know, I got a phone call today from an agent in Miami that got started with another agency and, you know, found me through YouTube because you know, he wasn't getting what he needed. So long story short, I love to hear from you guys. It really motivates me. We've never monetized this channel. You know, these shirts are available on insurancesucks.co. So that, you know, we'll drop the link in the bio. That is one way that we're starting to monetize it, but that's not the goal. The goal is to get to give information freely that's helped me be successful, help others be successful. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about building a downline and not just the how, because you know, naturally you start recruiting, you start training, you get them to sell. I mean, the how is almost self-explanatory, but the part that's not talked about a lot is the when to build a downline. And I see a lot of times agents sort of fail because of the fact that they start building a downline too soon. They're still 100% reliant on their personal production every single week, week in and week out, in order to pay their bills, in order to make ends meet, in order to, you know, keep a roof over their head and all those things. So that is, it's an okay place to be if you're starting with yourself and a couple of agents, but you really don't want to start recruiting in any sort of volume, okay, beyond just maybe a couple of friends or a couple of, you know, family members or a couple of people that were somewhat interested in getting into the business with you, right? You can kind of train and learn as you go with them. And that's really ultimately the time that I would recommend starting. And so the answer to the question of when would be once you're proficient enough, okay, once you're, and this does apply to verticals beyond health insurance, right? Life insurance included. But where I would say the tipping point is for somebody that has a goal of building a downline in the future, okay? Maybe you just started, but you started like me. I remember when I started in health insurance, you know, my goal was to get into a leadership role, to start to build a team. I love team building, right? It was one of my strengths. It's one of the things that I, you know, again, attracted me to the industry. And so maybe you're like me where you got in the industry and you're like, you know what? I want to start building a team right away. That's a great thought to have. However, you've got to be able to first prove that you can do it, not just to other people, but to yourself before you can train others to do it. However, even just in your first few months, right? 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, a year, you know, a year is a really good number to start with, right? Maybe 1 year into your insurance career, now you start to take on downline agents and train them. Here's what you want to do though. Here's the mistake that most people make. Most people start recruiting and they never stop. It's just one after another, after another, after another, after another. And before they know it, they're overwhelmed. One of the biggest things that I ever did that helped our agency, and I'll tell you some of the mistakes I made too, but one of the biggest things I did is start with kind of a core group of people, right? That core group of people, most of them are still here today. Most of them helped me. Most of them are managers now or leaders now, building their own teams, right? And that's what you want to do to start, right? Get yourself, and listen, to get 3, you may have to go through 5, okay? So there will be potentially some turnover, and that's okay. I'm not saying only hire 3 or only bring on 3 and hope that they all stick. That's not reality, right? Bring on 3, be quick to get rid of the ones that aren't working out, okay? Because it's going to be bad for them and bad for you if you keep them around. So get rid of the ones that aren't working out and try to build yourself a core little foundation, right? This is the foundation in which you will be building upon. These are people that you want to create future leaders in, right? So you want to look for people with leadership qualities, people with goals and, you know, that are hungry and want to potentially build a team down the road as well. So you focus on those 3 to 5 agents to start, build them up, and then you actually enlist them before they're, before they're true leaders, you actually enlist them to help bring on other agents, right? You're not doing it for free. You can bonus them on production. You can, you can also spin it as, hey, listen, this is going to help you in the future when you're training agents. As we bring in new agents, I want you to help onboard them in this, and I want you to, and make it a real team effort. That's the biggest thing that I think that I did that helped me, is kind of make it all a team effort. Like I said, I want to talk about one of the biggest mistakes I made, and this is only recently, okay, that I've noticed that this is kind of hindering our growth, okay? And this is just very transparent. I have never been a big recruiter type, right? I'm not the guy that's gonna say, hey, run Indeed ads, hire every agent you see, and or bring on every agent, because we don't hire in recruiting, we recruit. And so, bring on every agent you see, and it's just a pure numbers game. I was not a big fan of that, because it seemed like a big waste of energy, meaning I'm dealing with 100 agents just to get 3 or 4 or 1 to stick, and that seems like a very big expenditure of energy, which is something you've got to watch out for when you start to build a downline. That's why the when is almost more important than the how. The when, I mean, you can be a great personal producer making a ton of money. The moment you start to bring on downline agents, your production goes out the window, therefore so does your income, and those new agents that you're trying to bring on aren't even making you money. So the when is super important, but the mistake that I made was pausing recruiting. Okay, once you get that foundation, okay, so this is like kind of layered, right? Layer 1, the foundation. Okay, just like building a house, building anything, building any business, right? You want to build it on a strong foundation. So you've got those 3 to 5 core leaders. Now you're poised for growth. Now you're ready to scale. And once you go into that recruiting mode, okay, of bring on, and you can handle the growth, meaning you have lead support, you have onboarding and training, and you're not like kind of just throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks. Now you can really start to turn on the recruiting machine and never stop it. I know that sounds contradictory, because you just said, hey, you told me to recruit 3 to 5 agents and then stop, and now you're saying never stop after you get that core. I believe that I made a huge mistake by pausing recruiting, or kind of backing off of recruiting and just letting things happen organically, because what happens is when you bring new blood in, it's either going to drive you to be better, or it's going to drive people out, the people that don't need to be a part of the organization to begin with, or aren't leveling up with the organization, because as your organization levels up, you will lose people, right? It's only natural, and you will push people out. But hopefully, if you are constantly bringing in new blood, and good new blood, you're constantly leveling up and growing as an organization, right? So you'll notice that sometimes you bring in new blood, and wow, this new agent's killing it. This agent who may be with me for 3 months, 6 months, is starting to feel a little challenged because this new agent is giving them a run for their money. But that's going to either 1, drive that person to be better, or 2, push them completely out of the agency, which, hey, it was going to happen at one point. So again, the how and the when. The when, I believe, is most important, and I hope this video helped you.
I'm a health insurance hustler, Bradley Hannon's the name. I'm here to teach these agents how to play the game. I'm a health insurance hustler, one thing you should know about me. I'm a health insurance hustler, BradHannon.com.